frame. We tell the stories, we're rewriting the game. From the city blocks to the tribal lands unseen, we're the misclassified, living in between. Federal recognition, they can't define our fate. Our roots ran deep, can't erase our state. Urban Indian lives, yeah, it matter, they count. Voices rising strong, from the past to now, making America great, but we're part of the plan. Keeping up the news, that's important to our clan. We're the news now, hear the urban town. Stories untold where the truth is found. In the heart of the city, our culture's alive. Misclassified no more, we're ready to rise. Invisible struggles, we breaking the silence loud. Proud of our heritage, stand tall in the crowd. Bridging the gaps that history forgot. Urban Indian pride, giving all we got. Fed recognition, it's just a number game. Our identity shines beyond the name. Unified voices, reclaim our space. Honoring the past, we run this race. We're the news now, hear the urban sound. Stories untold where the truth is found. In the heart of the city, our culture's alive. Misclassified no more, we're ready to rise. So keep your ears open, stories just begun. Urban Indian heritage shining like the sun. We're here, we're strong, with history profound. In this urban beat, our truth resounds. Yo.
Osilo, Halato, Shamachukma, what's up, beautiful ones? It's a beautiful day in Indian country. It's Phoenix Moon. We got Brother Ish and Dr. Nolan with Urban Indian Country News, where we are the news now. Good afternoon, family. How y'all doing? What's up, cousin?
OCO, how you doing, cousin? Phoenix? Well, how you doing, Dr. Nolan? Hope everybody doing all right today. So good to see y'all. Peace to the audience.
What it do, Corn Pop?
Gonna pop be tuning in a minute. What's going on?
Check 1, 2. Yes, he'll get to us. He'll get next to us real soon.
Yes, sir.
All
yes,
is well,
ma'am.
cousin Ish.
Yes,
All
yes,
is
indeed,
well.
cousin. Good.
Before we get into it, I wanted to take a moment, not of silence, but of sound. Sound for the ancestors they thought they erased. A sound for the misclassified American Indians. And a sound for the bloodlines they tried to rename. Today's headlines, they're not just stories. You know, we always bring the receipts, and we have our newly discovered things that we're going to talk about. Hot topics, definitely the new blood type. You know how we got Albert Perry? Well, we have another young lady from the Americas with the Gwada, Gwada. We're going to briefly talk about that and go through a couple of things. And of course, you know, we got a segment that we need to call America is Aging Backwards, because as science progresses, it is also teaching us some wonderful information in regards to the antiquity of America in all of its splendor. Before we get to all of that, let's address some of this fire in the room. What's happening? Who we got there? Got some fire in the room. Drop some fire. Hi, Katrina. What's up, Juanas? Oh, we got DT in the building. What's up, beloved? Shout out to you. It's a beautiful Sunday. Yeah, so where we gonna go? Who's gonna go first? You up first, cousin Ish?
Absolutely. It's no problem at all, cousin, for sure, for sure. I know we got some great topics of the things we've been covering. A lot of recent events and things that have been coming up. So we got some up to date modern news. Uh, I know one of them was dealing with the Muskogee, the freedmen, and their oral arguments that have been taking place. I know that was taking place last month. Um, So I know that that was something that we wanted to go over as far as an update with the Muskogee family that are in Oklahoma and their plight. And I do know that we have um, some of that information that we wanted to post up. Let me just check and see what we have here um, as we bring that up for you so that we can discuss that. Cousin Phoenix Moon. I got this. I know I posted it up in the back chat, but we also do have, I could share the screen. If I could share the screen, we can kind of post it up that way too. So it's no problem. One moment here.
Absolutely.
Okay, cousin. Go here. So I know we do have again, this is from June 10th, 2025, and it deals with words of perpetuity. Muskogee Nation Supreme Court hears oral arguments on the Freedman citizenship case. So this is the Freedman case. I think it's being um, led by attorney Demario Solomon Simmons in Oklahoma, and it deals with the Muskogee Nation Supreme Court heard the oral arguments today whether the nation must honor the 159-year-old treaty promise. We're talking about the 1866 Creek Treaty dealing with citizenship. And this was now, mind you, they used to have citizenship, but that was revoked from them. So it deals with that 159-year-old promise to grant citizenship within the nation to Muskogee freedmen. Attorneys representing freedmen descendants argued in a 1979 constitutional change that stripped them of their citizenship, that it violated the treaty, while attorneys representing the Muskogee Nation Citizenship Board argued the tribe's obligation to provide citizenship was not perpetual. Now, they're saying that that treaty is not perpetual, and the other side is saying that it is perpetual. And why would that be such an important topic? The reason why it would have to be considered perpetual is because it's embedded within the 1966 treaty, something that the Native American people are trying to enforce. They're trying to enforce that half of Oklahoma would be deemed as Indian territory. And what that means is you cannot cherry pick certain parts of the articles of an agreement and then say one part of it we want to have acknowledged and the other part of it we don't. It's all or nothing, right? So what they're trying to do is break the law and still be rewarded for them breaking the law. So you can't have the recognition of half of Oklahoma being Indian territory when it's rooted in the 1866 treaty, yet pull out the melanated members of the treaty that's the topic of the treaty itself, right? So you're trying to get the milk and not respect the cow, right? You're trying to get the apple juice and not respect the apple. It's impossible. But these are some of the things that we face when dealing with these natives. These natives have adopted the mindset of their European white daddy. And that's what you're finding with this particular case, the 1866 treaty. That was one part of the update, cousin. Back to you.
That's absolutely right. And expressing natives. I don't think we have to say this for our audience. The people that have been rocking out with us and supporting us, but for the new news, There is a difference between Native Americans and American Indians, henceforth. And you can see that. The American Indians get the raw end of the deal, and now they have a new name, Freedmen, when they were Indians to begin with. Uh, that's what that is coming from. In case you didn't know, there is a difference between Native American and American Indian. I ain't got time to teach you right now. You can look at any of our old material that duly expresses. So, corn pop, corn pop. What's happening, Dr. Nolan? How you doing today, sir? Okay, he back, but not really back. He back, but not really back. But shout
Okay.
out to the Muskogee for all their hard work and for their win in Tulsa, the city of Tulsa. So whether or not the United States or the state of Oklahoma wants to do anything about the grievances of our beloved Miss Fletcher, um, the city of Oklahoma is pledging to do something about it, and I think that's pretty amazing. We can't win everything, but that is a W, absolute W,
Yeah,
total win.
absolutely. Yes, shout out to the city of Tulsa. I think they're allocating like, over $100 million and doing their part in trying to rectify some of the major injustices that took place within the Tulsa area, aka Black
Right.
Wall Street, which was actually Indian territory, and that was Indian allotment land that was on. So shout out to the city of Tulsa in taking a step in doing the right thing. You don't get a full applause, you get half a clap. But that's better than nothing, and there's still a long way to go. And we will continue to push and support the family as they demand justice.
Yes, indeed. And to the mayor, Mayor Monroe Nichols the fourth. Yeah, I would like to make sure you know, don't let them creeks be greedy. They wasn't claiming that land no other point in time. And the Cherokees got a stake over there too. I know, because I know the Indians that was over there in Indian territory. You removed them from Indian country and took them to Indian territory. And somehow they became the people that got shut out, locked out. Uh, so do your due diligence, Mayor Nichols, Mayor Monroe Nichols the fourth. Okay? Do the right thing like Spike Lee, sir. I see the Creeks encroaching on that territory right now. Do your due diligence. Okay? Please see the Murphy case and absorb yourself in it so you can see that all of those places that they thought they dissolved as reservations are still reservations to this day. You're welcome. Have a good day, sir. Have a wonderful day. There you go, Corn Pop. Are you with us? Are you with us? It was all a dream. Used to read Word Up magazine. Where you at, Corn Pop? Are you with us?
Right here.
There he
Welcome, Dot.
is. What's happening?
I'm chilling. Good to see everybody. Como and Gapo, sealed everybody. Yeah, just a little technical issues. I tell you.
Yes, sir. Good to see you, family. Good to see you.
Yeah, so feel free, y'all. Good to see you. Feel free to please go and look at Mayor Nichols presented his fiscal year 2025-2026 budget to the Tulsa City Council earlier this year. They should be turning up with something. Follow up on the meetings so you can see where the budget is coming from so that we can make sure that the commitment to pay reparations to the survivors and their descendants goes smoothly. And also be nosy and help us be the watchdog and monitor how they do their genealogy to find their descendants going forward. Let's do that because Miss Viola and a whole bunch of well, not a whole bunch of, but she's outlived quite pretty much everybody, right? So we want to make
Yes.
sure that this actually happens. It's nice and everything that they acknowledge it and want to do something. We want to make sure they cut the check and it is properly put to her descendants, Mr. Hughes that passed away, and of course all of the other descendants at large going forward in perpetuity.
And I
Right?
would
Don't
also think
just
that
get amnesia because they got the reparations.
I think a major part
Yeah, go
of
ahead, cousin.
her driving force is, of course, Mother Fletcher is 111 years old, and her will, is probably firmly rooted in a strong faith, in God, in the Creator, and also a demand for justice. To be at 111 years old, she's beautiful. She's got a great mind. She has a strong spirit. So shout out to the great Mother Fletcher as she continues to demand and fight for justice. We support her 100% humbly.
Shout out to Mother Fletcher, man, to have that determination
Absolutely.
and drive, and just see this through and everything. Like, we absolutely have to do our part as watchdogs on our end, just to make sure that that money goes through the right pipelines and gets to the right hands that it needs to. We know how bureaucracies work, right? So yeah, we're and that's a charge to everyone out there listening as well, to also be the watchdogs, right? So I just wanted to add that.
Absolutely, Doc. That is so true. Absolutely.
That's
Now
absolutely true.
I know also as a part of
Absolutely
the
right.
the news, Moon, were you gonna share any aspect right now, or did you want to go over the DNA and the hearings that took place? What did you wish to do? You let us know, um, sis.
Let us segue. Can we get Mr. John Simmons? I want to pay homage to the living right now. We could get to the. I want to pay homage to this living individual right here in proximity to us. I don't know if we talked about what happened to Mr. John Simmons. It's very important, and this is why you need to be in your folks' business. Go and snuggle up next to your elders and shit. And make sure you know that they are really safe out here and what it is that they're doing, and also reinforce the security that you're going to be the responsible party, or you're looking to awaken the responsible party that is going to be making sure your posterity and stuff is respected going forward in perpetuity. Mr. John Simmons. Let's look at Mr. John Simmons. They was in this man's way. Here we
No,
go.
we
Hold on a second.
absolutely.
Go ahead, cousin.
Hey, yeah, I know you're about to pull up Josh Simmons for sure.
And also, because I say for the purpose of this, Mr. Simmons is the protagonist in this video. Take note, um, pen and papers out, y'all, for those listening, and take note of the people who he references and the companies that they work for. That's all I wanted to add.
Yeah.
I'm John Simmons. I went to pay my taxes. Lo and behold, they told me, Miss Simmons, you ain't got no land no more. You ain't own no. I said, here's my receipt. And when I showed them the receipt, they said, George Simmons, which is my wife, but you ain't on now. I said, well, let me speak to Miss Christina Rowe. They said, well, they waited a pause about 15 minutes. They come back and said, Miss Christina Rowe is busy. So I waited a little longer, and Miss Chris, somebody from the office of the tax collector said, you need to go to the appraiser district. I went over to the appraiser district to ask why I cannot pay my taxes in my name. I talked to David Fish. He said, well, Mr. Simmons, you're not on it. He talked kind of rude to me. I said, yeah, I got my receipt to show you. I've been paying my tax for 23 years. What happened? Mr. Simmons, you're not on it. Then I went down the street to my neighbor, retired Judge Mike McClary, and asked him to help me. He took me to the appraiser district to ask them what happened to my neighbor, John Simmons' taxes. And David Fish told him, sir, it seemed like it was an error. And we went over to Mr. Simmons no longer owned no land. So we went to the tax collector's office to talk to Miss Christina Rowe. She's no longer there. She retired the first of this year. But when I asked to speak to Miss Christina Rowe, they said she's busy. But when retired Judge Mike McClary came with me, Miss Christina Rowe sat down for an hour and a half with us. And Mike McClary said, Miss Christina, this is my neighbor. Hey, we all love him. What happened? She said, well, let me call over to the appraisal district. She got her answer and come back to us and say, I don't know what happened, but I'm going to put his name back on his taxes. I thank God for retired judge Mike McClary of Precinct 1.
Wow. Shout out to Mr. Simmons, just one for being an elder with that much knack. And even from his video, I could see he had a little wit, even though it was you know, an unsavory situation he was in. And also shout out to the, I think that was retired Judge Mike McClary. Apologize if I pronounced his last name wrong, but this is definitely one of those situations where it pays to be a good neighbor and where it pays to have friends in high places. I'm sorry you had to go through that though. It's just a testament of sometimes how easy it is for our elders or even just regular folks of color to lose land.
Absolutely. And what I would say is what the elder is rightfully pointing out is a bait and switch and something that they've been doing in the history in order to steal our land. These were methods that they would use in order to try to usurp the land ownership. Example, we pointed out in our various earlier news segments how people in the record districts, maybe a wife, for instance, will be working in the record district, and the husband or a relative may be the sheriff. And then that relative or the sheriff would then go at night with a bunch of their friends, and they would just happen to have a bunch of sheets, and they would put on these sheets, and they would identify who the head of the households are. But on the backside, the wife has already changed the paperwork to make sure that once that head of the household is no longer with us or to be erased off of the deed, now you just cut down your options in half because you've taken it out the man's name. You either done something to that man, you've unalived him in a different way, and now you have access to the land
Yeah,
cutting 50%. And now she has no man because she's been put as the head of the household. She didn't even know it. She ran out of fear, and then somebody comes right in and gets it at a basement low price or free because the land is deemed as abandoned. These are systems that have been put in place. They find out who is the heirs of these properties and how can we run these people off of the land. And they would come on the land illegally. They would run you off the land and then put people that look like them in those homes or put themselves in those homes. That's what he's indicating. You erase me off of the land, and I agree also. Shout out to retired Judge Mike McClary. He stood up with the
right.
values in order to help and assist someone. So shout out to them being able to have the knowledge and the information as well as the foresight to put this on video form. I'm humbly saying, I thank you, and we thank you.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Indeed. This sister here. Now I've seen a different picture, and you know what? She's got her hair pulled back. I'm not certain if this is her It very well could be, because the picture I saw was different dress, different hairstyle, and everything. And you know, our women look very, very versatile. American women look very versatile when they want to. But this individual here, if not her, someone that looks just like her, looks like me, looks like us, lots of us, catching fire. Got these people here catching on fire, child. Gwada negative blood type. A woman from Guadalupe. Now, if you caught up with the first incident of this article, they spoke about it being a French woman, right, in France, but not necessarily expanding on her American indigenous ties, right? Now they're speaking about her being in Guadalupe. I got rid of the video. Some mayonnaise complected lady did a video on TikTok that I saw. No, on Instagram that I saw, and then on TikTok I saw some brother do it. I did not save it. Unfortunately, I'm unable to locate it, and it may not be there. Maybe it's because it's not there. But they had the lady's name and an image. That's why I'm saying this image that you saw here, it could be her, but it might not be her. But I'm telling you, the image of this rare blood type exclusive to America, namely the Mayans and Belize, and you know that area, of course, the Yucatan, they got a new blood type. How does that work for the DNA monsters? So now this year it's been such a lot of additional information that's been coming. Now we know that Africans make up less than 2% of the entire global genome. All life and started in Africa is bunk. And now the Americas are aging backwards with the fact that, we got Albert Perry for the Y, DNA, oldest on the planet. And we also now have this woman. And we're going to call her Miss Gwada. I'm telling you, in the minute I come across that video, we will make sure that you'll see it on First Tribe Nation and UIHS, where they say the woman's name and have her visage and picture there for you. A woman in Guadalupe, now living in Paris, has been found to have a brand new blood type. She's the only person in the world known to have it. Scientists have named it Gwada negative, using the local nickname for Guadalupe. The discovery was officially confirmed in June 2025 by the International Society of Blood Transfusion at their group systems to 48. The story began in 2011. The woman was getting ready for surgery and had routine blood tests. A biologist in France noticed something unusual in her blood, but at that same time, they didn't have the tools to study it further. Years later, in 2019, with new DNA technology, scientists found a rare genetic mutation in her blood. They also learned that both of her parents carried this gene. That made her a unique example of her blood is only compatible with her own. That makes transfusions very difficult. Doctors say this could help improve safety in transfusion medicine, especially for women, for people of rare blood types. Excuse me, it doesn't say women. The name Gwada Negative was chosen to honor her Caribbean roots. It is also easy to say and recognize in different languages. Now, researchers are trying to find if anyone else in the world shares this rare blood type. The goal is to improve medical care for people with rare or unknown blood types, especially in underrepresented communities. Now, we know they don't really care too much about underrepresented communities, but they're trying to study us because they done already made up lies and stories about their origins as they tried to hide ours. Yeah? Yeah, go ahead. I'm a mute.
This is very fascinating. I love it. Now, these Negroid prototypes seem very, very unique and indigenous to the Americas. What were you about to say, Doctor? I'm sorry.
No, I just have questions now. So, so I believe this. Well, no, O positive is the ultimate giver to all the positive blood types. So A positive, B positive, AB positive. So I knew of the RH blood type. So now, just thinking about all of the disciplines, y'all know I'm a sociologist. I'm wondering how the American Sociological Society meets either this month or next month. How are
Yeah. So again, they don't have everybody. They didn't test everybody dead, and they damn sure ain't test everybody alive. It's pretty clear. And now in France, they're not on the same propaganda and hide so much, right? Um, the sound, is the sound okay? Can you hear me now? Microphone check. 1 2
Mike,
1 2. Can you hear me now?
I hear you
One
fine,
two one
cousin.
two.
Hmm.
Oh, they were saying in the chat. Okay. Yeah. She moved to Paris. It said that she moved to Paris. She is from pretty much modern day Belize, right? In that down there in that Yucatan, where the Mayans were,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
ancient Americans.
Indigenous.
Mm.
And we also
Speaking of
can't forget.
indigenous,
We also have Henrietta Lacks. We can't ignore Henrietta Lacks. The immortal,
absolutely,
the immortal cells.
absolutely, the immortal, the immortal Henrietta Lacks.
So, Miss Guadalupe,
Welcome back, Crumpy.
we would have to say that Miss Guadalupe, of course, she has a mother and she has a father. Is she a niece? Does she have siblings? Does she have cousins? Or is this like they try to make it sound like this is just some rare, anomaly that just doesn't have any kind of connection to anyone else? I would bet to think that she has cousins. Yeah, yeah. Or aunties, or yeah, yeah. Parents, of course, have
Oh yeah,
grandparents.
oh for
Hmm.
sure, they
Those
got
grandparents have other children. Oh, there's a whole gang of them. Okay, okay. And they all look
And
Negroid.
kaboom! Guess who stepped in the room? They certainly do. Negro de Terra. What kind of Negroid, cousin? What kind of Negroid?
Yeah,
What are you
yeah.
talking about?
Definitely Negro de Terra.
You talking about
Definitely.
Negro de Terra?
Yeah, yeah. We owning
Yes,
that.
indeed.
Yeah, we got that.
Yes, indeed. Oh
Hmm.
yeah. 10 toes down. Absolutely. And look who stepped into the room, y'all. Carter's Homestead Journey. I'm gonna need y'all to follow that channel. You can stop what you're doing right now. Go and follow that channel. Carter's Homestead Journey. Can you please drop your channel link and grandbaby that's following in your footsteps? Can y'all drop a news broadcast? We will do that. Commercial break. We'll be right back. Subscribe. Share that UIHS YouTube out. You on the YouTube, you on the Facebook page, share that page. Let your friends see it, right? It's all valid information. We're giving you the receipts. The links are appropriate. The information is digestible. There's really not a lot anybody can do about it. The truth may make you mad, but it may set you free. And hopefully you use it to make sure that you can take care of your loved ones and all of that with it, right? It's not used to do no harm. It's used to protect. Used to protect. Used to live your life and used for respect. Real simple. Real simple. And while we here in America's talking about the Americas aging backwards, because now Miss Gwada Negative just put us in antiquity, regardless of how much they talk about 12 million, 12.5, 80 million Africans came to the United States, and like there's all this confusion who we are saying we are. There really is not that much confusion. They're just giving us little snippets and caveats of what it is that they find, right? And we are coming out of a league of baby boomers that are now passing away, and they held on to the old secrets. And the new people that are coming up are a bit more honest and have integrity about the anthropology and archaeology and things that they're doing and discovering, and they're not hiding things. So I kind of like how this wave is happening. Thank you. Welcome back, Corn Pop.
Thank you for
Um,
summarizing that, Moon. I heard the tail end, and you hit the nail exactly on the head what I was trying to convey.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Spot on. Appreciate you.
So a beach stroll, also in America, a beach stroll and sail in the Boulevard Peninsula, a Paleo Indian artifact found near where? Galveston. You could, yeah, I'm pretty sure there was a time they was healthy enough to swim between there and the Yucatan. So, same by geographic proximity, right? And in a big fat and, I'm gonna come back to y'all on this one because we had maps that there were two different land masses that are no longer there. They're probably underwater. Not probably, they clearly are. Because America looks like there's just, this space, direct space between what we know as the United States of America versus Estados Unidos de Mexico, right? Still also of America as well, Estados Unidos. They're the United States also. However, near Galveston, Texas, this in our hood. A beach stroll turns into an archaeological breakthrough on the Boulevard Peninsula. And I'm going to say Paleo Indian. And this is the artifact. Let me get y'all a picture of that so y'all can see. And pull it up big so you can inspect. There you go. All right, this little piece right here, very important. Y'all get a gander of that? Oh, wow. Hold on, no. That's not it. Is this one? My bad. Here we go. That's the photo. That's the artifact. Let me know if you're able to see it. Right? Something really small and minute that, normal people are walking by. And this is here on the beach in Galveston. Right? So, artifact
Yep, we see it.
right there. Let me read the article for y'all. Was combing the shell beds next to the stilt house when he spotted something unusual atop the sand. I actually live about 3 hours away, but I like to go down that area in Galveston to spend the day in Beachcomb, normally looking for sea glass, But I pick up anything that catches my eye. Sawyer told Shran yesterday in particular, I was hoping to find my shark tooth, right? He thought he was going to find him a little shark tooth. But instead, he finds something else. Something ancient. And that's how big it is in his little mayonnaise colored hands, right? Little small object. Looked like a peanut chew. Definitely looked like garbage or something that I personally would have stepped over, stepped around. I wouldn't have thought it was anything special. And yet, there are people that are able to detect different valuable things like this, right? And it says to be a Clovis spear point. So I think we got to go into what Mr. Mayonnaise found, but these are the things here that a lot of those folks cannot tie themselves into. Now, if y'all want me to read the article, I will, but it's there. The link is there available for y'all to see for yourself because I don't really want to do too much of Mr. Mayonnaise, but I definitely wanted to make sure y'all saw that little artifact that we wouldn't even pay no mind to. Right? Y'all got anything to say about this little thing that looked like a goddamn bit of honey? Don't it look like a damn Mary Jane chewed up?
It definitely it looked like a sugar baby. Remember sugar babies and everything back in the day, and the yellow and the red in the pack. Nah, y'all remember that?
Yeah, like a bit of honey.
Yeah.
It looked like the
And
old school bit of honey.
and then just to kind of add some perspective to it, are you able to check the back chat of what he kind of has in his hand? That way the public can kind of see exactly what it's supposed to look like because it's something that's partial that's in his hand. Are you able to
Say that
click
again,
that?
cousin.
Yeah, are you able to click on the
Say that
back chat?
again.
I'm sorry. Am I coming through okay? Anybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, brother.
Okay.
There you
Um,
go. Okay.
I
I
was just
got the
asking.
black chat. I
Okay.
got it up. So we can pull up the Clovis spear. I got it. Here we go.
Okay. Perfect.
Here we go. Momento. Just so y'all
So
know what the Clovis spear tip looks like.
exactly. So what you're
Yeah.
finding is he has the
Got this.
bottom of that. He doesn't have the part with the point on it. That's the part that's missing. But what he has in his hand is the bottom part of the spear tip. So he was able to see, and there's a specific carvings that take place that are on the spear tips that you'll be able to see clearly in his male hand. But that's what he's holding, and that's the indication of the ancient artifact of the Clovis spear tip. So you'll see that other hand that's right there in that right hand corner that will show it, what the spear tip would look like in a person's hand is what you're able to see.
How we looking? I didn't want to go out with the mayonnaise on both side hands presenting it. Is that better?
Yeah, that's
That
perfectly fine.
yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
And it just like look at the gradation in that, right? Look at the texture in that. That really takes a level of skill and craftsmanship. So when I'm in sociological circles now and everything, and they try to refer to our societies as um, hunter-gatherer societies, and just trying to minimize the amount of technology and innovation that we had. I use individual pieces like this, and I flip it right on this head. So this is for everybody, and I'm glad we sharing it. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, definitely agree. It's indicative of, ancient technology as well as the skills of what it takes in order to form such a thing for a specific purpose, which is in order to, for hunting. Um, Shows intelligence
So
and
that,
go ahead, cousin.
yeah, I just said that again, that is something that, we probably have passed and haven't paid attention to, and the different values and treasures that are right before our eyes that are actually free to find. You know what I'm saying? In some of these uh, beautiful places here in the United States to explore. So much of this beautiful country that people seem to hate and talk so much stuff about, and we don't want for anything. We don't want for anything. Ooh, gratitude, gratitude. We got some. I'm sorry for the long pause. There was a plane going by. It's a lovely day, and I'm sitting here in my yard, and I'm mosquito free. And these mosquitoes be biting like shamar and whatnot. So got to make sure. But yeah, forgive us for the pause, cousin Ish. First Tribe Nation. First of all, still this another year running of the hottest website, and still nothing has been going crazy over there. Give us some of the updates and things that are going on. Please give us a little spicy meatball.
For sure,
Some
for
of the
sure.
articles definitely great builds. And Margaret Cyprian, let's just give us a moment, sir. Give us a moment.
Marguerite Scipion, very significant historical figure. Um, we've been exploring a lot of the important part of the history and how it connects to a lot of the modern day uh, political situations that we're facing today. And a big hot take that's taking place right now is the 14th Amendment, right? So the 14th Amendment is very important because can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, sir. I thought it was me at first. Nah,
No,
but
no, no, devil, you ain't getting rid of me that quick. I'm presenting this information.
I know that's
Uh,
right. Go
get,
ahead, bro.
That's right.
get,
I know that's right.
get ye behind me, Satan.
Look, they got the dishes.
Get ye behind me, Satan. Yeah, so
Uh-uh.
we're dealing with that.
They tried to glitch it.
You know what I'm saying?
Uh-uh.
Back to what I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by the government. Was dealing with the 14th Amendment and Marguerite Scipion and why this was so important. It was pertaining to the 14th Amendment topic. So I was being nice before, but now I'm about to go in on your ass. No, I'm just joking. But I'm presenting this information. And let me just see what we got here for you. And pertaining to Marguerite Scipion, of course. Let's check this here. What important thing that we want to do is um, let me know once the share screen is coming up. I think I have to get permission to share. So, am I coming through okay? Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Okay. Is my share screen up right now?
I still see it buffering on my end. How about
Okay.
you, Mo?
Yes, buffering. Look like you're buffering over there. You good? Y'all can hear me?
I can hear you.
Loud and clear. Yep.
Um, is it allowing you to allow me to present, Moon?
Okay. Hold on. Let me move. There you go. Try it now.
Okay, no problem. 1 second. We'll work it out. Let me stop it first and then go back in and try it again. No problem. Let's try this. Okay. It's letting you share. Y'all can hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. So let's start first with let's take a little commercial break for some of the Asian family, and let's see how this ties into Marguerite Scipion, since that's what the topic is. Let's see what the Asians have to confess about the indigenous populations.
Oh, this my home girl.
Yeah, let's see what Sister Asia got to say about this. We call her Sister Asia around here.
That was stolen from you through colonizer tactics will not be returned to you through the same tactic. If you give in to hate, that will be their excuse to exterminate you. That's what they're setting this up for. The way the land returns to its aboriginal...
Oh, cousin.
Yes, the dark-skinned melanated.
Yes, Mo. Did the audio come through? Could y'all hear it okay?
It's very low.
Colonizer tactics was stolen from...
Okay. Hold on 1 second.
That was stolen from you through colonizer tactics will not be returned to you through the same...
Was that audio okay? Was that better at all? Or was it still low?
It's still a little low.
And that was the same for you, Doc? You can barely hear it?
I can hear her, but I have to really like focus in on what she's saying.
Colonizer tactics will not be returned to you through the same
Okay,
tactic.
okay.
If you give in to hate...
Well, what I'll do is I will post it up in the back chat, and then we'll just be able to hear it that way. How about that? Maybe
Put it
somebody
in
else.
the
Okay, we can do that.
yeah.
That's no
Put it
problem.
in the back channel. Let me see if it's louder on this end. Okay.
It's not true, Brother Ish. I think the technology is technology in the day.
Okay, Doc. Yeah, we'll see what it is. We'll check it out. So I know Moon was able to share the elders video, and that audio came through good. So maybe that's what it is.
The land that was stolen from you through colonizer tactics will not be returned to you through the same tactic. If you give in to hate, that will be their excuse to exterminate you. That's what they're setting this up for. The way the land returns to its aboriginal owners. Yes, the dark-skinned melanated, wool-like hair, which again is not this, will be through geophysical upheaval, system failure, prophetic re-entry, so claiming it, as you have been doing, and ancestral gates reopening. The colonizer is baiting you. Be careful. Hate only hurts the body that it resides in. What is promised will be yours, and very soon now. But caution your members who are too quick to hate, because they will be the ones affected and victimized in this next part. And I caution against people who blindly trust Trump to follow his word. He's not a friend, but he is helping this empire collapse faster. The Chinese are not going to reclaim your land for you. Trump is not going to reclaim your land for you. The land will call you back. Listen for its voice. If you're too busy hating, which is not like returning energy descender type thing, I mean actually hating everyone in your path, then you won't hear the call. I do not hesitate to get rid of people that level attacks at me. I will speak my truths no matter who wishes to follow. And if that's upsetting to you, I'll say the same thing I said to the natives. I'm not your problem. Don't shoot the messenger. Y'all think that's gonna help you. But I'll keep sending my message. There's a reason I'm sitting here unaffected.
I like that. So I hope y'all was able to hear what she was able to say. Did it come through okay, or was it still coming in very low?
It was low. I just was able to hear it a little better than when you played it, but it was very low. So low audio.
Okay. Well, we'll make sure. Hopefully, we'll be able to like post a link up in the chat or something. But what she was pointing out is that these Aboriginal or Indigenous people were the dark-haired people with the woolly hair. She said, and then she touched her own hair and she said, "Not like this." Right. So she's talking about not like her hair. She's talking about the opposite. Right. Um. So I think that's very, very significant. And I think also what's very important is that, I know we're dealing with the Marguerite Scipion case. And in the Marguerite Scipion case, again, this is very important to the 14th Amendment of what we're talking about on the website. Um, are you able to give me the share screen? With the Marguerite Scipion case, again, this is on firsttribenation.com. We deal with the 1805 Marguerite Scipion American Indian case and why it was more important. And it was way before Dred Scott. We're talking about a total of 40 years before the Dred Scott case. Marguerite Scipion was an indigenous woman who was a Natchez Indian. And in these court records, she's described as being very dark with very woolly hair. And she was also being um, categorized as black in her court case because they were trying to say that she was black and that she did not have indigenous ties and that she was able to be enslaved because of that. When in actuality, she was a Natchez Indian, a woolly hair indigenous woman that you just heard this young lady talking about. She was of those indigenous tribes since time immemorial. The Natchez Indians are the mound builders of that Mississippian culture, unquote. So in this case, when we talk about the Marguerite Scipion case, it was in the same area of Dred Scott, which was in the Missouri Supreme Court. Some of the same lawyers in Marguerite Scipion's case was also dealing with Dred Scott's case. And with the proof of the proceedings and all the information that's being shared on the website, ultimately Marguerite Scipion won her court case. So shout out to Marguerite Scipion. And also on here, we point out other parts of the article. There's an article called Neither Fugitive Nor Free. This is by Edley L. Wong. We deal with some important information dealing with Marguerite Scipion's case, along with the testimonies that are being provided to you firsthand, and the links that deal with the Missouri Historical Review. These are the court cases where they actually describe Marguerite Scipion. So when you go to the actual source, you'll see the Missouri Historical Review, Volume 79, Issue 1, October 1984. You can read the court case as we go here. And on this page number 17, you'll see the section where it says, as in the 1806 trial, the defense attempted to accentuate the plaintiff's Black ancestry. In his testimony, elderly Auguste Chateau described Marguerite's mother as brown in color with very woolly hair like that of a negress. Bernard Pratt recalled that Marie Scipion had been very black with hair like a negress, and in the closing arguments, the opposing attorney continued their debate about Spanish policies governing Indian slavery. So Marguerite Scipion comes from those very dark, woolly hair and very woolly haired people. That's why this is so important. So that was a part of the Marguerite Scipion and what we're dealing with on firsttribenation.com. Now, keep in mind, on the website, we deal with a lot of various things. So we're also dealing with a very interesting case right now that was posted up yesterday that deals with who gets to be Indian. Right? So this one, again, posted up yesterday, deals with the case of, his name is Cruz. And Cruz is very interesting. He has Indigenous and he has Black ancestry, or African ancestry, as he says. He points out that my mother is half African and half Indian. That's his mother. And his father is a full-blooded Indian. He learned this information from them when he was a small child. And I believe my father's ancestors were all full-blooded Indians. He submitted his information into for naturalization. For naturalization. Now, this Indian, who, again, he's 1/4 Black, right? They disregarded his 3/4 Indian, and he was rejected for citizenship. So we are going into this particular case, and these are some of the things that we're working with on here. This American Indian applied for naturalization and was not Black enough to qualify. And we asked the questions, well, why wasn't he allowed citizenship? Because this was in 1938. So in 1938, why wouldn't he be recognized as a U.S. citizen? Why would he even have to apply for naturalization? Right? In 1938, because in 1924, American Indians or Native Americans were recognized as U.S. citizens in 1924. So why would he then be rejected in 1938? We're opening up these cases and we're exploring these very important topics. So please feel free to subscribe to firsttribenation.com, and we're dealing with a lot of hard-hitting and informative topics. So thank you so much, Cousin Phoenix Moon.
Thank you so much for that drop. Margaret Scipion, very, very important. Long time before Dred Scott. Same area, same demons, same hungry lawyers working cases, even during the time of Dred Scott. Very interesting outcomes leading up to the newer article. But I'm telling y'all, First Tribe Nation is hot to death. Just go subscribe. Do yourself a favor. Go subscribe. Please, let us get the link.
Might as well. Soon as it drops, you get the little ding in your Gmail, in your email, whichever one you got. In case you missed it, the firsttribenation.com link is in the chat, along with the Marguerite Scipion case direct link.
Right?
Appreciate you.
Yes, please do that. Please do that. Do it for the heritage, not the culture. We're doing this for the heritage. Okay? Subscribe. You're welcome. You're very welcome. Cousin Ish, I want to thank you so much for that. Corn Pop, what you got for us? You have something very interesting that you wanted to bring to the people, right? Put it in the back chat, and or if you're on your laptop, let's do, educate.
Give me just a moment. Did we want to start with the? I'm not sure if we talked about the good senator already. I'm not sure if we talked about him or if we wanted to go directly to.
Which one, Uncle Josh?
Yes.
No, we didn't talk about Uncle Josh yet. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Yeah, let's talk about Uncle Josh. You have the link, drop it in the back chat.
I got a question. Is Josh getting a ticket to the cookout? Is that yes or no?
Josh is coming to the cookout.
Okay.
Josh is definitely invited to the cookout. Listen, Josh might even be invited to the wedding. He's just somebody, you'd like to have a fun like that watching over you. I'd love to have someone like that in leadership in a situation where he just stands on integrity, irrespective of, what the appearance of both parties have participating in. So just, shout out to Josh Hawley. And it's a shame that we have to thank people for doing what they're supposed to do. But in this climate and temperature, I don't mind thanking them for doing what's right. And that's on period. I'm okay with it. They should get the accolades because the image that we see is all of the things that are egregious to us and, mess with our minds. So I know a win when I see one, and I know people that are capable of producing wins, and they do their best. So that's what I say about Uncle Josh. And I ain't saying he y'all uncle. I'm saying he my uncle. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm gonna tell you this: hats off to him, do rags off to him, because I'm not that old, but I'm not that young. But Josh Hawley is around my age and everything, and very well trained as a constitutional lawyer, which is why I think he gleans with us so much as urban Indians, because he knows that the Indians in the Constitution. And I think he is just a man that overall is just against oppression in any regards. And it really gleans in this video that we're about to watch. We're aware that 23andMe is going through the bankruptcy process. Um, and what that means for a lot of folks who donated their genetic material, right? And what that means, from a business sense, now that Ann, what's her name, Ann Wachikiki, she's the CEO, former CEO of 23andMe. What that means in terms of, the company going through liquidation, the company selling off shares, the company potentially selling off folks' genetic data. We need to understand, especially if you or your family, hey, if you sent it, you know, now we can only be as proactive as possible, right? For those out there that's listening, or potentially a family member that may have sent it. Now it's important for us to know what, we the people, what our rights are. So I think that'd be a good segue to just at least hear Senator Hawley's testimony.
Watch Senator Josh Hawley rip into 23andMe's interim CEO, demanding answers on why the bankrupt DNA testing giant plans to sell 15 million Americans' genetic data, including kids, after promising it would never be shared without consent.
How many customers do you have approximately?
Between 14 and 15 million customers.
Between 14 to 15 million. I think you told Senator Britt just a minute ago that a goodly number of those are minors. Is that correct?
What I said was I don't have the number of customers.
You have the genetic data of a good many minors. Is that correct?
we have genetic data for a particular number of minors, and I will be happy to provide.
People under the age of 18, is that correct?
That is how I'm defining a minor.
So they give your customers, I just want to make sure I understand your business model. Your customers give you their genetic information for you to run various tests on. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
And I mean, that's pretty sensitive stuff, isn't it? Somebody's genetic information. Is there anything more personal than that?
I would agree with you, Senator, that genetic data is sensitive information.
And so now you're just going to sell all of it? 15 million people, bunches of kids, maybe millions. It's just going to be sold in the open market?
As Senator, the good news, as I mentioned, is that the two bidders or buyers for the company, one is Regeneron, which is
that's the big pharma company?
It
doesn't make me feel any better.
It is a large pharmaceutical company.
All right, so you're gonna take 15 million Americans' genetic information and you're gonna sell it to somebody. And your message to us is today: trust us, it'll be fine. Maybe it's a big pharma company. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe they'll treat it right. I thought your privacy code, your privacy commitment said that consumers had a right not to have their information shared with anybody else without their consent. I mean, I've got your privacy statement right here. It says that without their consent, you can't share their information. You're about to sell it.
Senator, that consent is, essentially for,
not real.
Not share for research purposes, and we are not selling it for research purposes.
So when you tell the consumer, give us your personal information and we'll take money from you, and we won't give it to anybody without your consent, it's not real. It just means, maybe kind of depends on the day.
Senator, I will say that our customers' data is their own. They have the right at all times to access that information. They can edit it.
Well, sure they can, but you're about to sell it to who knows who. They can't control it. You said to Senator Moody that consumers have complete control of their data. Complete. How can they have complete control if you're about to sell it without their consent?
Senator, they can delete that data anytime up until the sale and after.
Oh, okay. They can delete the data. Have you fixed the ability of customers to go on your website and delete it? Because right after you announced your sale, your deletion page went down. I hold in my hand here an article from the Wall Street Journal. 23andMe site goes down as customers struggle to delete their data. Can they even get onto your site to delete their data?
They can, Senator. And
you fixed this?
That was an issue that, yes, we fixed immediately after.
It's up and running now? Customers can go on?
Customers can go on and they can delete their data.
What happens when they go onto your site to delete their data?
When a customer logs into their account at 23andMe, they go to their settings page, and there's a section there where just click delete my data. It confirms that they want to delete their data, and it's deleted automatically.
Is that true? Let's take a look.
Okay.
When they go onto your page, they get an opportunity. It says permanently delete the data. So they click the button that says permanently delete the data, and then they get a notification that says your account is no longer accessible. How do they know if they can't access their account anymore? How do they know their data's been deleted?
Because we send them a notification that their information has been deleted.
You send it once, and how long does that take?
Our policies state that, we will delete their data within 30 days. And in most cases, it is automatic and happens much quickly.
And when you delete it, it's deleted. It's gone forever.
All the genetic data is deleted forever. And yes.
Really? Because that's not what your privacy statement says in the fine print. Let's read it. What your statement says is, we retain personal information for as long as necessary to provide the services and fill the transactions you have requested, to comply with our legal obligations, resolve disputes, enforce agreements, et cetera, et cetera. And then it goes on, 23andMe and or our contracted genotyping laboratory will retain your genetic information even if you choose to delete your account.
Senator, 23andMe, it does not retain any genetic information regarding the consumer once they delete their account. We do.
It says right here that you will retain genetic information, including date of birth and sex, even if you choose to delete your account. This is your privacy policy. I'm just quoting from it.
Senator, to the best of my knowledge, we do not maintain any genetic information.
It says, even if you choose to delete your account, we will retain your genetic information, date of birth and sex, even if you choose to delete your account.
There is some information that we do retain, such as but not related to the genetic information.
Right.
But that, such as name, email address,
Oh.
and other.
So even if you delete the account, you retain their name, you retain their email address, you retain their date of birth, you retain their sex, and you retain their genetic information, even if they choose to delete your account. So in other words, don't talk to your suit behind you. Talk to me. He's not testifying. You are. You do not allow consumers actually to delete permanently their data. And when you said a minute ago to Senator Moody, at all times, consumers have complete control of their data, that's just not true, is it? By the terms of your own agreement, that just is not true.
Senator, with all due respect, all of the genetic data is deleted. We are only
With all due respect, what you are telling me is in direct contravention to what your own policy states, even if you choose to delete your account. In fact, what you do is you allow your consumers to delete their account settings, but their data isn't deleted. You still have it. The laboratory still has it. You have their name. You have their date of birth. You have their sex. And now you're going to sell it. Here's my point. It's a pattern. Your consumers actually aren't in control of anything. You are. You control their data. You control their genetic information. Now you're about to sell it. You promise them, we won't ever sell it without your consent, but you're doing it. You promise them, we'll allow you to delete it, but you don't. In fact, you've lied to them. Have you not?
Senator, we have not. I assure you that we are deleting all of our customers who have requested.
No, you're not. You're not, because your policies say they're not. And you're not deleting it because if you were, your company wouldn't be worth $300 million. No, don't read from what your guy behind you is shoveling talking points to you now. I don't want your talking points. I've read your policies. I've seen what they are. And I tell you what, it's amazing to me you're not getting your socks sewed off by your customers. I hope they will. I hope they will rush to the courthouse, even as we are here today, to sue you into oblivion for lying to them and taking their most personal identifiable information and selling it for a profit and lying to them and to the American public. Quite frankly, Mr. Savage, what you're doing here has all kinds of implications, national security implications, all of it, but nothing is worse than taking the personal identifiable information of American consumers and keeping it and lying to them about it while you make a huge profit off of it. It's unbelievable to me. It's absolutely unbelievable. This concludes our hearing. I want to thank each of the witnesses for taking the time to share your experience, your expertise, and your perspectives. Written questions can be submitted for the record until Wednesday, June 18th at 5 p.m. I'll ask the witnesses to answer and return questions to the committee within 2 weeks. The hearing's adjourned.
Watch Senator Josh
Masterclass.
Yo, Josh, like Wu-Tang, ain't nothing to F with. That's all I'm going to say. And he has a wonderful way of going after very, very many of the ops that are against the American Indians. Speaking of American Indians, and these are another one of the wins for us. And this is coming out of the big, beautiful bill.
Mo, before you
Yes.
touch on that, I just wanted to walk down that company because I know that's going to be a big win that we want to celebrate. And I got the flute here in the background, got Firewalker on the flute. But before we do that, I did want to walk down that company that they mentioned, Regeneron. So
Absolutely, please
Regeneron,
do.
absolutely. Little flute interlude by Junior. Regeneron recently, their stock price raised from $560 to $584. This is as of July 11th, so just 2 days ago. Now I'll put this in the chat for everybody to read. And the article states Regeneron stock price target raised to 584 from 560 at UBS on ILIA Outlook. And the first two sentences that it says is UBS raised its price target on Regeneron Pharmaceuticals to $584 from $560 while maintaining a neutral rating on the stock. Wonder why that may have happened. Could it have been because of a certain company that they're trying to make a deal with? Then I saw another John. Now this is a little bit older, but when I say older, just as of last month. This article is from Reuters, right? Gotta come with the receipts. Yeah. So this article headline states Regeneron declines to make higher bid for 23andMe after Wojciechowski 350 million offer. And the first sentence of this reads June 16th. Regeneron Pharmaceuticals has declined to submit a new bid for genetic testing company 23andMe, exceeding its original bid of 256 million, a company spokesperson told Reuters on Monday. So I did some quick math, y'all. I remember from the testimony, the the current CEO, acting CEO, when Josh Hawley asked him, so it's about 14 to 15 million customers, right? So I did some quick math. 305 million into 15 million. That comes out to be what? 20.33. So they selling everybody's information for about $20.33. That's wild. It's absolutely wild, and I just wanted y'all to know. And I also wanted y'all to know who the CEO and founder of 23andMe is. Excuse me, Regeneron is. It's this gentleman. His name is Leonard Schleifer. And ironically, he is from up near like Canarsie territory. Oh, here's the Reuters article. You know, dropping my sources. And now I put as well the Wikipedia page for Mr. Leonard Schleifer, who is an American businessman and the co-founder and chief executive of biotechnology company Regeneron Pharmaceuticals. And I'll just read the first sentence about his life and education, and then it's back to you, Moon. Just a little bit about Mr. Schleifer, um, the CEO of Regeneron. He was born and raised in a Jewish family of the son of Florence and Charles Baker Schleifer in Queens, New York. Uh, I just wanted to give you guys just a little tidbit about this company, Regeneron, their stock and financial underpinnings, how big businesses like and CEOs like Wojcicki and Schleifer kind of scratch each other's backs in the back offices to raise and lower deals and everything for millions of dollars while they bargain our data for what, $20.33. I yield.
Mm-mm-mm.
Appreciate you, cousin Firewalker, and appreciate you, brother Ishmael.
Thank you, kindly. Firewalker, what's happening on CO?
That's
Thanks,
right.
thanks for that.
OCO, appreciate y'all. It's a
You as
great
well.
build, great build.
Thank you. So,
Absolutely, Firewalker.
I guess at some point we're also going to go over the big beautiful bill. Probably not on this build, but we are going to go over those elements. Pick out some of the things that are actually more wins, especially for our population, both the American Indians. But if you care to know what's happening, Senate passes reconciliation bill with exemptions for American Indian Alaska Native people from community engagement requirements for SNAP and Medicaid. And they passed this on July 1st through their budget reconciliation bill. The Senate's one big, now they calling it Donald Trump's, but here it clearly says who? The Senate's One Big Beautiful Bill Act is a major bill that would deliver significant elements of President Trump's legislative agenda, including tax cuts, Medicaid reform, and lifting the debt ceiling. The bill contains a health title, which includes Medicaid reform provisions, such as cost sharing and provider tax changes. The Senate bill has notable provisions impacting American Indian and Alaska Native healthcare compared to the House passed bill. Exempts American Indian and Alaska Native beneficiaries, including urban Indians, from Medicaid and supplemental nutrition assistance program community engagement requirements, and exempts American Indian and Alaska Native beneficiaries from more frequent eligibility redetermination requirements. Now, we're going to drop this in the chat for you. You can absolutely, I'll drop it in the chat for your perusal. And please, when you get a chance, make sure you take a dander at it. But these are some of the things that the Indian doesn't really have to worry about. So please follow the Big Beautiful Bill and pick out the things that are going to be unique in respect to your posterity. You may not have to be able to think about yourself, think about your future and the generations that'll be here long after you're gone. Some of these changes being made. Follow up on some of you have the opportunity, and we hope by bringing you this information, you have the opportunity to follow up on how these things affect us politically, and in our everyday lives, because their decisions often go on to be passed laws because we're not there to say yes or no to them. The Indian has to show up to work, and that's just what it is. But yeah, I thought you guys would be interested in that. It does not say Native Americans. Does not say Native Americans. It does mention natives, but again, those are Alaska Natives. So pay attention to how things are worded, know when to insert yourself, know what applies to you, know how you'll be affected, and also know where some of these things are how they apply based off of how you describe yourself. This is also based off of self-determination. Is you is or is you a urban Indian? But please know that the status is moving forward as the truth comes out. And, don't miss out. Don't miss out. You have your receipts. You make sure you identify yourself accordingly. Do the same thing for your children, same thing for your parents, same thing for your posterity. That is the optimum goal. And there's no aspiration to be on any services, but just know if you get disabled and you can't work, anything happens, and you're not in a position to do the things that, you've been able to labor to do. Just know what your rights are and where you're excluded at and where you're added and where you should be added to. And if you don't know where to insert yourself, it should be in the places locally who you put in front of you to make decisions for where you live. Start there. Before you go trying to save Indian country, worry about where you live and where your loved ones are. That's important. But get to it. But definitely know your rights as an American Indian. And you got people out here saying, oh, we ain't got to do that, but we black. But we black. That's what they call us, but it ain't what you answer to, is it? And that's all I wanted to say on that.
It's definitely very important, cousin, when you're dealing with the urban Indian healthcare. You can never know enough doctors to get access to proper health care when you need it. I mean, hey, if y'all want to pay out of pocket or if something's not covered, that's up to you. But I will let you know that Urban Indian Heritage Society, if you listen, like I said, you can never have access to enough health care. So if they're dealing with the laws and the legislation that's going to allow you to get access to the urban Indian health care, it's a no-brainer. The first step of what you would do is sign and share the petition so that you can be included with the group of people that are already making the legislative moves and getting you the access. So we just want to put that little caveat out there that unless you rolling with the Urban Indian Heritage Society, you're actually not doing it right. So again, you have the opportunity to get on the winning team. The information is here for you to participate in making tangible moves in your Urban Indian Heritage Society. Thank you.
Thank you, because I dropped the chat in. I dropped the petition in the chat if you haven't signed it, and please read over it for your perusal. Read over it, sign it, share it, talk about it amongst your people, get your family to sign it. Not only do we need the support, but you need a voice, and you don't have one. And we got this unique situation that's getting worked out. It's getting worked out right in front of us. So I hope it's important to you and you take care of your affairs accordingly, right? For the greater good. For the greater good.
I did want to share. There's some information going on. I've seen Ricky Smiley and different just Negro groups, Rolly Martin, and all the rest of them. You know,
Oh, go for it.
and stoking fear about deportations and they're going to be rounding up black people soon and putting them out there for the immigration talk that's taking place. We have to explore and open up where the immigration situation comes from and why is it such a hot topic that's going around. You have Mexicans that are saying, y'all better come and fight with us or you're next. They try to stoke the boogeyman fear in order because they're used to black people stepping up and fighting their battles for them. And if you notice, there's a system in place of, historically, I'm saying, we've always been on the front line fighting everyone else's battle. And then when it comes time for justice, every single one of them are silent. And we're left alone on the front line, taking all the blows. They go and reap all the benefits of it and leave us high and dry. All of them have done it. All of the immigrant groups have done it. All of the sexual orientation groups have done it. The white women have done it. Everyone's gotten their progress on the backs of our people, specifically the American Indians. I don't give a damn what y'all talking about. The African immigrants have done it. So for us, we need to deal with, well, what is all of this immigration talk? Huh? Where is it coming from where the government is trying to say, listen, this has gotten out of hand and this needs to be addressed because this is something that we can't withstand as a society and a country? Well, it's a very important topic. So as we deal with the origins of what's going on, we have to deal with where it comes from. It comes from the start. The culprit is the United States government. That's damn right. I said it. It was the United States government. And the name of the program is what we've been talking about, is the Bracero program. It is the prelude to Cesar Chavez and the farm workers movement. From 1942 to 1964, millions of migrant workers crossed the border from Mexico into the United States as braceros, a Spanish word for a laborer who works with his arms. As contract workers, they faced harsh conditions and had to pay for food and lodging while only receiving meager wages. Despite low pay, these migratory workers continued to work through the Bracero program, sending remittance back home to their families in Mexico. Ain't that what they doing now? Ain't that what they've been doing for the last almost 100 years? Let's see what the memo says. This farming area raising alfalfa, flax, and other vital war crops, seriously short of farm labor, but situation could be relieved if Mexicans from adjacent Sonora were allowed to help in harvest now commencing. Some Sonora Mexicans have drifted in during the past few months, but face immediate deportation. Mexicans recruited by FSA from interior Mexico, high altitude and cool climate, cannot stand our heat, and most of them have left. Border Mexicans from Sonora and Lower California use are used to our climate, are experienced farmers. This help absolutely necessary to harvest vitally essential war crops. Can deportation be stayed temporarily or until the authority for legal entry can be secured? Yuma County Water Users Association, Henry Fulmenfelder, president. They're calling for help for these Mexicans to come in and get access to these crops, or we're losing all of this money. So it was the federal government bringing them in by the millions by FDR. That's right. Franklin Delano Roosevelt brought in millions of Mexicans, and along with the millions that came in through the Bracero programs were even more millions coming in that would work for even less wages. So you had one group coming in that would probably work for about $2 to $3 an hour. You had another of undocumented immigrants coming in that would do it for about $1.50. So they were coming in by the tens of millions to come in to work the crops, and it became a floodgate of illegal Mexicans coming in under the sanction of the federal government. So now the Bracero program was a federally sponsored labor program that was initiating following negotiations with the U.S. and Mexican governments. Officially called the Mexican Farm Program, it was created to address the U.S. labor shortage caused by World War II and lasted from 42 until 64. It brought migrants, mainly men, to the United States from Mexico to work seasonally on short-term contracts. This was in stark contrast to the 1930s Depression era programs, which unjustly targeted and deported Mexican Americans who were U.S. citizens. Part of the agreement was the participants would not suffer discriminatory acts in accordance with President Franklin D. Roosevelt's Executive Order 8802, which prohibited discrimination in the defense program. So these Mexicans that were coming in under the Bracero program started having children, of course. Those children were now born in America. After you sanctioned bringing them in by the millions, they started to repopulate. But what you're finding is something that was put in motion that now in 2025 is trying to be addressed. The swelling of illegal immigration, but don't think that it just came up out of nowhere. What we're bringing is showing you where the source of this is put into motion so that you're now being brought up to speed of why it's being addressed. And not only that, what you find in from our previous programs of the news, we were showing you the 60 minutes where the immigrants coming in were not Mexican at all. They were coming through Mexico, but they were Asian. They weren't taking any kind of shots. They were walking straight off the bus in front of the cameras, smiling and cheesing, smiling and beguiling, two-stepping their asses right back through the border into America, coming in by the busloads, thousands and thousands and thousands of them. So yes, this government does have a right to be saying, wait a minute, we need to stop this bleeding because they are taking the resources of the American people. And you're robbing the resources from the American Indian. So we wanted to let you know that we're going to further explore the Becerra program and the immigration. And you can find that information at urbanindianheritage.org. Thank you, and I yield the floor.
I ain't got no explosions and fireworks and all that, but thank you, cousin. Kaboom! Always with that heat, my goodness. Can we get the flute firework? Just flute. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. Doc, you there, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
You have another spicy meatball you wanted to share with our listeners.
Say that one more time for me, Mo.
So I think there was another spicy meatball that you had that you wanted to bring forward.
Oh, about Indian Senate.
Yes, and Mr. Kirkland and all that. Yes, give us a drop.
Give me just a moment. So I just put that in the chat. Should be able to pull that up. And I also put that in the chat over here so everybody can see it as well. But what it states, from what I saw, is that this is a hearing, nomination hearing for Mr. William Kirkland for ASIA position. That is the Assistant Secretary of Indian Affairs at the Bureau of Indian Affairs, of course. And this is within the Department of Interior. So I just did a little searching on. This is courtesy of Native News Online. Now, this is from February of this year, 2025. And I also put this in the chat as well for everybody. And the first sentence that it reads, first two sentences that it reads is breaking. William Billy Kirkland III, citizen of Navajo Nation, has been nominated for U.S. Department of Interior Assistant Secretary, Indian Affairs, by President Donald Trump. His nomination was received by the Senate on Monday, February 3rd, and has been referred to the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs. His nomination was welcomed by Navajo Nation President Boo Niergan, who said Kirkland will be an excellent choice for Indian country. What say you, urban Indian country?
I don't really have much on Kirkland. But I have been following some other people, like the new person of Office of Federal Acknowledgement. What you got on Mr. Kirkland? The fourth.
The third. Um, I'll
Him too.
continue. I'll continue. I'll continue to read. It says Kirkland was a part of the White House staff during Trump's first term, serving as special assistant to the president. I didn't know that. Anytime we can get Indian country more involved, whether it's here in Washington or in the States, we definitely want to do so, Kirkland said at the event. I know the White House will continue to have an open door policy with all the tribal nations. Kirkland was raised in Georgia and graduated from University of Georgia with a BA in political science and government. Kirkland has led many Senate campaigns, including David Perdue in 2014 and Kelly Loeffler in 2020. He been diehard MAGA through, so it's a favor. He also served as a senior advisor to Donald Trump's 2016 campaign in Georgia and later worked on the White House Inauguration Committee before becoming senior strategist for Vice President Mike Pence. Former Navajo Nation Vice President Myra Lintzer, who was also considered for the position, voice to support for Kirkland's nomination. I end it there.
Thanks so much for that, Doc. Okay, so he MAGA to the bone, bone, bone. Again, I don't have much for him or on him, but he has not been one of the people that come across my radar. What about you, Cousin Ish?
He's definitely somebody we have to keep an eye on as far as let's do a deep dive and do some digging on, who he is, some of the moves that he's made in the past so that we can make a proper assessment. Definitely somebody to be studied so that we can, kind of see or kind of predict where that may go. Absolutely. That is somebody we need to put on our radar for studying for sure.
Agreed. So July 16th, that hearing is coming up. Definitely pay attention. Yeah, you certainly want to pay attention to that. I don't know. Cousin Ish, did you have any other articles? I think
I
we put
did.
a lot out.
I did have a follow up that I wanted to add as far as some information that we were able to share in the past from the series Colonizer the Chiefs that I think is very relevant. There's been some updates on some very important information that I would like to read into the records, if I may.
Yes, indeed.
This is in a
Yes,
connection
sir.
to in connection to classification. Again, this is a central core of what we talk about, and this is also included as an important topic that's addressed in the petition. So, with this classification, it's not only when you're born, and it's not only while you're living, but what should also be addressed is when you expire in your physical form. And if I'm allowed to share, we can go over the past article of what was addressed. This was addressed years ago on the website, again, shared on Colonizer the Chiefs. Some of the colonizers' tricks of erasing the Black indigenous existence. 30% are made white at death. They take indigenous people, and when you die, they change your race from indigenous to white man and white woman. We go over, again, this is from July 19th, this month, July 19th, 2023. We were breaking down this sister that was in Brazil. She looks like our family. She's our family, but she's indigenous to Brazil. And she was saying that when she was in school, that although in Brazil in the late 80s, when Amara was around 13 years old, she was told at school that Brazilians were not black, that they were white, either nor any other race. They were considered to be mesticos or pardos, terms rooted in colonial caste distinctions that signify a tapestry of European, African, and indigenous backgrounds, and of one single mixed people. They were all equal to one another. So they took her from being indigenous and then put the term on her that she was basically a mestizo, so a pardos. The idea felt odd, wrong even. To me, it seemed quite strange. Now, they changed her identity at 13 years old, says Amaro, now a chemist at the Federal University in Minas Gerais and a member of the Brazilian Association of Black Researchers. How can anyone be equal if racism exists? It doesn't make sense. So this indigenous woman was being changed, her race was being changed in real time. But what we also pointed out was another article that said non-white Americans are being misidentified as white on their death certificates. And from this article, again, the link is on the page, it shows that this man, clearly our family, he was changed into a white man on his death certificate. And on average, 30% of Native Americans, 3% Asians, and 3% Hispanic deaths are mislabeled. By those figures, an estimated 4.8 million Americans living today could be given the wrong race when they die, according to the 2020 census data. And we show you the other pictures. This man, his race was changed to white when he died. This young man, when he died, they changed his race to white. There's a system in place. Why do I say that there's that system in place? Because this is why it's relevant. June 18th, 2025, it's gone up. While a lot of Native American deaths are not counted, there's a significant undercount of deaths because of wrong race ethnicity data on death certificates, a new study shows. This is June of 2025. American Indians and Alaska Natives in the United States live nearly 4 years less than official statistics. Would you have you believe? In fact, their life expectancy, 72.7 years, is closer to that of typical citizens of El Salvador than the U.S. at 78. That is according to a new study published by JAMA on Monday. The difference, the authors show, is a result of race and ethnicity data being misreported on death certificates. Mind you, we were warning you about this years ago. What does it say? Typically, American Indian and Alaska Natives' mortality rates and life expectancy are calculated using race reported on death certificates. In the sample, the authors analyzed race and ethnicity data in 41% of American Indian deaths were erroneously marked as white. Notice we were pointing it out when it was at 30%. We were ringing the alarm when it was at 30%. Now it's at 41%. When you have the statistical equivalent of unmarked graves for thousands of American Indians who have died but are not observed in vital statistics as having died as American Indians. Jacob Bohr, an associate professor of global health and epidemiology at Boston University School of Public Health and Studies lead author. The study analyzed data from the U.S. Census Bureau and Centers for Disease Control mortalities data spanning from 2008 to 2019. Bohr and his co-authors paired mortality data and responded self-identification of race, the gold standard for racial classifications. Bohr described the study as a work that seeks to make the invisible visible. This is an erasure taking place in real time. They call it a statistical erasure. We're talking about genocide taking place with the paperwork. So while we're giving you and we're ringing the alarm to you when it was at 20% and 30%, it's now at 41%. That's why we fight so hard for the American Indian identity, from the birth records to addressing things while you're living and making sure that you can address it even when you die. Because black, according to death, doesn't necessarily mean white. God damn it! Doesn't necessarily mean black. It means that they'll change you into white. So that's what they're doing. They're erasing your identity at death at 41% and counting. I yield the floor.
Just astounding.
Hey, cousin Ish.
Astounding.
Beneath the flute, please, flute. All I can do is flute.
I apologize. Walker has left the building, but yeah, no friends left
my
behind.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta get that one back for Firewalker. We can edit that in later. Give me my theme music. He can just go on and play the flute. That's right. We letting the public know what's up.
Absolutely. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I know time has not permitted us to be committed to come through as often as we like to. But when we do come through, you know what we do. We come through with receipts. We come through with things that important to the build, important to you and our posterity overall. I definitely hope y'all enjoyed this show. Cousin Ish and Doc, y'all want to give us a take home?
I don't mind.
With your amazing selves. I appreciate you all so much.
Absolutely, Cousin Phoenix Moon. Thank you so much for hosting the platform and your leadership with the Urban Indian Heritage Society. I'd like to give a shout out to Chief Warhorse. I also like to thank the supporters. You work so hard for Urban Indian Heritage Society and the supporters outside of the organization. You encourage us. You give us words of encouragement. We accept your blessings when you give them to us, and just the attaboy and the attagirl, just to keep pushing forward. We're pushing forward with the legislation. We'd like to thank the supporters of the petition. We also like to let you know that we have a great upcoming event in Los Angeles, California. That's October 10th through the 13th. Make sure you get your ticket. Some of the delegations had just got done leaving the Virginia area as we are spanning the United States on both sides. We want to let you know that we recognize the well wishes that you give us, the encouragement that you give us, and we're always here to work on your behalf. So thank you on behalf of Urban Indian Heritage Society, as well as First Tribe Nation, to let you know that we're always going to continue working for you in your best interest, uncompromised, unapologetic, and we're going to continue doing what we're doing. Thank you so much.
Really, thank you so much, Cousin Ish. Come on, Pop.
It's always a pleasure and an honor to share the stage with you and Brother Ishmael. I appreciate it. I also appreciate Urban Indian Heritage Society and all the support that they show, and just showing up and being themselves. I want to shout out as well Junior Firewalker for providing some of the musical interludes today. That's always needed just to change the frequency. It's a great day in Indian country. I'd also like to thank our subscribers and our kith and our kin in the chat. Shout out to y'all out there, as well as our VIP uh, supporters for the petition. Uh, Actor Hawthorne James, NBA player Kyrie Irving, and former presidential candidate Dr. Cynthia McKinney. Uh, I do hope that they are able to see this, and others in Indian country are also able to see this. I yield there, and hope to see y'all next time.
Thank you so much for that, Corn Pop. Well, y'all know what I'm already going to say. I celebrate American Indian heritage every day, B. If not now, then when? And if not us, then who? Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And until we meet again, Chipisa La Chique.